gypsies say, stay dangerous. And I never understood it for a minute, right? But then when I finally understood it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Stay dangerous. Because when you are, you're aware. And if you're part of the danger, you can see the danger around you as well.
Okay, guys, I think y'all need to grab a seat for this one because there's some serious drama bubbling up around the untimely passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. And the streets are whispering that it might not have been as random a drowning accident as it was reported. Word is, this whole thing could have been premeditated, and some celebs allegedly knew it was coming. Inside sources are saying Method Man allegedly warned Malcolm Jamal weeks before he passed on that some people were coming for him and even told him to lay low. But baby, that's not even the juiciest part because apparently Jamie Foxx was also alleged to have reached out to Malcolm Warner asking him go off grid as people were after him. So did Method Man and Jamie allegedly knew Malcolm Jamal was going to be unalived? For context, Malcolm Jamal Warner died drowning in a beach in Costa Rica while on holiday with his wife and kids. According to reports from Legacy Media, Malcolm drowned while trying to save his daughter, but things started getting suspicious when the Costa Rican Judicial Investigation Department released a statement that contradicted what was reported by Legacy Media. The statement reads, Mr. Warner was playing with his daughter at the seashore at one point. He then left her out of the water and he and a friend of his entered the sea. It was at that moment that they were swept away by the current and the friend managed to get out. However, Mr. Warner was unable to get out and was pulled out by several people on the beach. He received care from Red Cross officials, but was pronounced dead at the scene.
That are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water.
You know, the first thing that they do is they bring him to the surface and give the emergency respirations.
Right there
In the water on the surfboard. And when he didn't respond to that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
Now, fans are starting to feel like somebody somewhere is trying to cover up some key details about what really went down before Malcolm Jamal Warner's drowning. And honestly, the story just isn't adding up. I mean, the idea of Malcolm casually swimming at a beach with almost no funding, deadly riptides, and only volunteer lifeguards on duty, yeah, that doesn't sound like him at all. This was a man of principle, deeply in love with his wife, and someone who constantly talked about how much he adored his family, especially his dream of having a daughter first so he could protect her. So, knowing all that, do you really think he put himself in a situation that could risk leaving them behind? And child, here's where it gets even more suspicious. Something just feels off about the statement from the Costa Rican authorities. They claim Malcolm was pulled from the water by several people who just so happened to already be on the beach. But get this, among them were not one, not two, but 3 tourists who were doctors. Now, call me crazy, but that's a little too convenient, don't you think? So, of course, the whispers started. People began talking about possible foul play and how Malcolm Jamal Warner actually drowned. Now, while people were questioning the loopholes in the story surrounding Malcolm's death, the internet was flooded with tributes for Malcolm, including Jamie Foxx, who took to his Instagram and wrote, "Speechless on this one, rest in power, my brother." But then things took a wild turn because the whispers just kept getting louder. People were saying Malcolm Jamal Warner's death might not have been the tragic drowning accident we were all told. Nope. Word on the street is that this whole thing could have been premeditated. And here's the real gag. Rumor has it, some celebrities may have gotten wind of what was coming and even tried to warn him. According to inside sources, Method Man allegedly reached out to Malcolm weeks before he passed and told him straight up that some powerful people were after him. And this wasn't just about blacklisting him from the industry. Method Man supposedly made it clear that they wanted him dead and would go to extreme lengths to make it happen. He even advised Malcolm to take his family, disappear somewhere safe, and stay off the internet until the heat died down. But apparently, Malcolm brushed it off, saying he had everything under control. But child, Method Man wasn't the only one who allegedly had first-hand knowledge of what was about to happen. The source is also claiming that Jamie Foxx knew they were coming for Malcolm Jamal. Word is, Jamie actually reached out to him, shared what he'd heard, and told him to stay vigilant, basically warning him to step away from the spotlight and even leave the country for a while. Now, here's where it gets even more telling. According to the source, Malcolm did believe there was some truth to the idea that someone wanted to take him out. Not only had Method Man already warned him about the danger he was in, but it's believed Jamie Foxx's advice was one of the key reasons Malcolm ended up in Costa Rica. And get this, the source insists Malcolm wasn't just on vacation. He was in Costa Rica to stay out of reach from the very people Method Man and Jamie Foxx had warned him about. But even though he not only left the country from the way Jamie Foxx alleged, he was trailed to Costa Rica, where he was out hiding before he was found and unalived by the people who wanted him gone. But the problem is, who and why do people want Malcolm Jamal dead? Well, it's safe to say Hollywood does not reward good behavior, which Malcolm stood for. Malcolm, over the years, have stood against a lot of vices, including the criticizing the version of hip-hop that is being made.
Unfortunately, the success of hip-hop is predicated upon being anti-Black. The messages in hip-hop that get the exposure are misogyny, murder, and disrespect of fellow Black people.
He openly criticized how toxic and destructive the genre had become, calling out the misogyny, the glorification of violence, and the lack of emotional accountability. He wasn't trying to hate. He was calling for healing, for growth, for the community to do better. But of course, that's exactly the kind of message major record labels want to bury, because let's face it, they make millions off division, dysfunction, and chaos in the culture. And don't forget how he stood 10 toes against wearing of dresses by male celebrities in exchange for big roles.
And the reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes, because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life. And we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk.
Or any sort of humiliation ritual that comes with the rewarding the Black man with a bigger movie role.
You don't necessarily want to a Black boy. What you want to do is you want to love him so divinely. You want to love him so fiercely that your disappointment will kill him. You want to adore him so much that the last thing he wants to do is disappoint you. Like, that's how the album opens. So this is an...
Also, it is widely believed that Malcolm launching his podcast may be part of the reason why he was unalived, because he has a reputation for knowing a lot of things in the industry. That kind of person behind a mic and in a podcast would be powerful in the hands of a principled man. Method Man and Jamie Foxx warning Malcolm Jamal to watch his back weeks before he passed on had fans talking, and they left comments saying he was carrying a heavy burden on his shoulder. You can see it in his videos. The pain, the crying, the sadness. He knew they were coming for him. It's all a cover-up about his death. From the moment I heard how he supposedly passed, I knew something wasn't right. Rest in power. Pharaoh, he was a real one. I hope Malcolm family take out a big lawsuit, because I don't believe it was an accident. Somebody's covering something up. Something doesn't feel right about the whole thing. Don't believe it. So, do you think Method Man and Jamie Foxx knew Malcolm Jamal was going to die? Or do you think they just reached out like every other guy would do? Let me know what you think in the comments, then check out this next clip.